Yeah, so continuing with Deliveroo age ID nonsense. So the customer comes to the door. Well, someone comes to the door, but you don't necessarily know who that is. Now, with the correct age ID and with that ID happening to match the account holder, you would be able to do a proper verification. But there are various problems, such as a partner or spouse or whatever coming to the door and saying, well, he or she is not here at the moment or is abroad. So, how do you check the ID then? Now, you've got Deliveroo's inflexible policy, quote, irrespective of what age the person appears to be. But you've often got coming to the door someone who says they are not the customer. So how does that work? Once an elderly couple said that the order had been placed by their daughter-in-law, currently in Canada or something, for Mother's Day or Father's Day as a present. You see? So how do you deal with that? I won't say how I dealt with it, for reasons I will leave to your imagination. But another thing is, what if a customer tells you that they are using a friend's account? How do you apply age ID then if they've told you that they're using a friend's account, not their own account? And another thing is that most Deliveroo drivers are Asians or North Africans on illegal e-bikes going at the speed of a scooter, and driven much worse than already terrible L-plate drivers of scooters, riders of scooters. They're wobbling from side to side with their heads down. They're not looking where they're going. They're looking in one direction, then suddenly darting in the other and expecting you to jump out of the way. They're swaying. They're weaving. They're not pedaling these twists and goes, which makes the vehicle, the bike, even more unstable. And they're wearing balaclavas and neckerchiefs and so on as some kind of cultural fashion statement, but presumably also to disguise their identity in the event that police in that particular area could be bothered to chase them in an attempt to seize their bike and destroy it, because it is illegal. Now, these Asians and North Africans, mainly, but also include some Romanians, may even sometimes include a Brit, but that would be quite difficult, wouldn't it, given that the very few Brits actually do Deliveroo. They do, but very few. You've got customers complaining about how rude they are, saying number, that's the two-digit security code, yeah, and barking at the customer and being very rude and curt. And how does Deliveroo think that people behaving like that are going to treat the age ID requirement? Because these people are just not bothering. They're, even to quote a customer the other night, just tapping in the date of birth without even looking at the customer, irrespective of whether ID is being presented or not. And most customers say, oh, well, nobody else asked me to do that. And then other customers have the ID ready, waving it in your face, and others will say, well, if I ask them, they say, yeah, probably only about 10% of the drivers ask for age ID. And, if it's not one of Deliveroo's setups in a hotel car park like they were doing a few years ago, whereby a dolly is there and rather ostentatiously and absurdly already wielding a camera as a tip-off as to what she's doing. It says, oh, well, it's upstairs somewhere, I'm not sure. And then the driver says, oh, no, don't worry about it. And then the driver immediately gets sacked from a job that is not a job because it's self-employed, from Deliveroo for failing to comply with the age ID criterion. Now, how does Deliveroo think this overabundance of Asians and North Africans riding illegal e-bikes is going to actually bother with the age ID requirement, given that their whole ethos is to maximize, modus operandi is to maximize the number of deliveries they can do so as to maximize their effective hourly rate on a per delivery model, because they abolished the pathetic hourly rate several years ago. You see, £6 an hour, which was already under the minimum wage, but they got around it, always operating at the very margins of what is legal, got around it by paying £1 per delivery on top of that. Now, how do they think that these Asians and North Africans, or whatever ethnic group, being very rude, how do they think that these people are going to stand around insisting on age ID or arguing the toss or risks being assaulted? As I was a few days ago, the customer threatened to assault me over age ID. And you're not supposed to film the customer because it's a breach of supplier agreement. So how could I possibly have evidence that happened? But anyway, getting back to the point, how does Deliveroo think that these rude pathological thugs are actually going to bother waiting for the customer to fart around upstairs, or pretending to fart around upstairs, to get the ID the app has already told them they need? Or to, in fact, even bother tapping in info from ID that may be already being shoved in the face, when all the driver wants to do is get away to get onto the next delivery to maximize his, or rarely her. I don't think you find any female Asians, well, maybe in other places, maybe London, when the driver just wants to get off onto another delivery. The two things just don't go together. Deliveroo, bang your heads need banging together, because this whole inflexible age ID policy does not go together with Asians and North Africans on illegal twist and goes, mowing down everybody and everything in their sight and barking number at the customer, and wanting to get away as soon as possible onto the next delivery.